Hi everyone, happy Monday! Woo! We're almost to May. It was so exciting. So the thing that we're going to start doing this week, and we're going to see how it works, is that Miss Kappas and Miss Liberi are going to start back up at the Big Friendly Giant. I'm so excited. We were so into it. So we're going to do a quick review of chapters 1, 2, and 3, and then we are going to get back into the book. And we really left off on chapter 4 and 5, and I'm excited. I love this story. Okay. So I'm going to read out loud to you. Before I do, I want to go over some review of vocabulary. I'm going to, yep, you can see it. Okay, so this is so different than the classroom, huh? So we have moonbeam, right? Oh, there we go. Moonbeam, a line of light from the moon. A line of light from the moon, right? So we sometimes, I have this giant window in my room, and sometimes a moonbeam shines through at nighttime, okay? So we know it's light coming from the moon. The next one's dormitory. The word is dormitory. We've talked so much about these words. I hope it has stuck with you in your word bank, but just a quick review, okay? So dormitory, there we go. A large bedroom for a number of people in a school or home. We know Sophie was living in a dormitory type thing at a home for children, right? And so Miss Liberi always used the example of when I went to college, I lived in a dormitory my first year. And my one friend lived with 5 other people. They had bunk bed style. And so it was a room full of 6 people total. My dormitory situation was a building and had all these different people in the building, but I only had one roommate. So a dormitory is lots of bedrooms or beds in a building for a school or a home. Okay. The next word is going to be doze. Doze. Buttons will doze off so easily. He'll be looking at me, and then all of a sudden his eyes are closed. Doze means sleep lightly, right? Sleep lightly. So if I doze off, I'm sleeping lightly. It's I didn't really intend to probably go to sleep, go to sleep for the night, but I dozed off. I'm sleeping lightly, and I'm still asleep, but it's probably not a deep, deep sleep. So sleep lightly. Mr. Berry's drawings are really interesting. Okay, the next one. So we have moonbeam, dormitory, doze. Next one is lavatory. Remember Miss Liberi's drawing of a toilet? Yes, it hasn't gotten better. So that's interesting. Lavatory, a room with a toilet. So we know that Sophie in the story, if people get up in the middle of the night to go to the lavatory, they could get in trouble. Longing. The word is longing. To have a strong wish or desire. I long to get back to normal and see you all in school in the fall. I'm longing for that. It's a strong wish. I really want that to happen. Ooh, it's a really big desire of mine. I want that. I wish for it to come true. Dim. We talked a lot about this word when we went over it the first time. Dim, not shining brightly or clearly. So when a light bulb is getting dim, I drew a really interesting light bulb. I hope you can see it. Yeah. When a light bulb is getting dim, it means it's really just not bright anymore. And you're going to have to change it soon because eventually we know light bulbs go out, right? And so as a light bulb gets near the end, it starts to get dim and more dim and more dim. And then all of a sudden it's not shining light at all and you have to change it. Okay, so I'm going to start reading our text. Hopefully you can see me. There's a lot of sunshine coming through the windows, which is nice. So I'm going to read the text, The Witching Hour. It's our first chapter in the Big Friendly Giant. I'm so excited. I'm going to kind of go a little bit quickly because I only have 6 minutes. Ready? The Witching Hour. Sophie couldn't sleep. Wait, I'm going to pause. I want you to see the text. Okay, wait, you can't do that in the middle of the video. Something that I've learned for next time. Okay, Sophie couldn't sleep. A brilliant moonbeam was slanting through a gap in the curtains. Okay, we know moonbeam in the sentence. She's trying to go to sleep. It's nighttime. A moonbeam's coming through the gap in the curtains of her window, so we know it's a light coming from the moon. It was shining right under her pillow. The other children in the dormitory had been asleep for hours. We know she's in a dormitory. We already have our setting of chapter 1. Sophie closed her eyes and lay quite still. She tried very hard to doze off. Okay, so she's trying to just fall asleep. She's just doing it. She's like, I really need to fall asleep. It was no good. The moonbeam was like a silver blade slicing through the room onto her face. The house was absolutely silent. No voices came from downstairs. There were no footsteps on the floor above either. The window behind the curtain was wide open, but nobody was walking on the pavement outside. No cars went by on the street. Not the tiniest sound could be heard anywhere. Sophie had never known such a silence. Ooh. Perhaps, she told herself, this is what they called the witching hour. Ooh. The witching hour, somebody had once whispered to her, was a special moment in the middle of the night when every child and every grown-up was in a deep, deep sleep, and all the dark things came out from hiding and had the world to themselves. The moonbeam was brighter than ever on Sophie's pillow. She decided to get out of bed and close the gap in the curtains. You got punished if you were caught out of bed after lights out. Even if you said you had to go to the lavatory, that was not accepted as an excuse, and they punished you just the same. But there was no one out about now. Sophie was sure of it. She reached out for her glasses and that lay on the chair beside her bed. They had steel rims, very thick lenses, and she could hardly see a thing without them. She put them on, then she slipped out of bed and tiptoed over to the window. When she reached the curtains, Sophie hesitated. She longed to duck underneath them and lean out of the window to see what the world looked like now that the witching hour was at hand. She listened again. Everywhere it was deathly still. The longing to look out became so strong. We know this is a wish. To look out became so strong she couldn't resist it. Quickly, she ducked under the curtains and leaned out the window. In the silvery moonlight, the village street she knew so well seemed completely different. The houses looked bent and crooked, like houses in a fairy tale. Everything was pale and ghostly and milky white. Across the road, she could see Mrs. Rance's shop, where you bought buttons and wools and bits of elastic. It didn't look real. There was something dim and misty about that too. Okay, nothing was bright going on. Sophie allowed her eye to travel further and further down the street. Suddenly she froze. There was something coming up the street on the opposite side. It was something black, something tall and black, something very tall and very black and very thin. So I want you to think back. Miss Liberi read it pretty quickly because my videos are only a certain amount of time. It's so frustrating. But we went over a few vocabulary words that we were to review. Miss Kappas is going to do it for chapter 2 tomorrow. These chapters are super, super short, but we wanted to break it up so we could really understand what's going on and really make sure that we reviewed it, even though we've already read the first 3 chapters. Okay, so we know our main character is Sophie. We know Sophie is just she's in this dormitory setting, right? She's in a home. She gets punished if she gets up at night. So she wants to go to sleep. A typical night. It happens to me all the time. There's a light that shines right by my front door, and sometimes it keeps me up. So she's just going to the window, and things look different. And she talks about this witching hour. The witching hour is so interesting. It's is this real? Is this when these things come out, when grown-ups and children are in a deep sleep and they have the world to themselves? And so when she finally keeps looking, she sees something coming. So really quickly, remember, the moonbeam, a line of a light from the moon, dormitory, a large bedroom for a number of people in a school or home. Doze, sleep lightly. We know that she was trying to just doze off, fall asleep. Lavatory, a room with a toilet. Longing to have a strong wish or desire. She was longing to see out the window. She just had to do it. She's like, I just want to. It's so hard. Sometimes that happens to me all the time. I'm longing to do something and I just give in. I'm like, I have to do this. And dim, not shining brightly or clearly. Whew. We talked about the light bulb. She said when she looked out that things were dim and misty. She really couldn't see clearly, right? Things looked crooked and bent and misty and something tall and black and thin. Read the text on your own.